sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence. Waste of existence. We spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence. Waste of existence.
The sun is shining and the anxious earth is rising. Anxious earth is rising. I'm so happy.
Spend our life searching for the sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Hey, welcome. Sounds like I got a mic there. Well, let me do a sync check here before we get the thing going. I had the wrong title in there when I opened it, so let's see how my sync is here. I think it's all right. Read my lips. Yeah, that's close enough. All right, welcome to Double Tribble channel on Twitch. This is a live stream. My name is Ron. I live in New Hampshire. I'm in a rural area here, surrounded by forests and wild animals, and I stream about animals. I do IRL sometimes. Today I'm doing news. Usually I do science and technology and that sort of thing. Yesterday I did talked about special relativity. Got into that. Why astronauts age more slowly than people on Earth. I do a lot of stuff. IRL, what else do I do? Yeah, a lot of stuff. So, today is news. So, I started a little bit late. I was going to start at 4, and I changed the schedule to 5. It was approaching 4 o'clock. And they hadn't picked up my mail yet. And I thought, oh, maybe they're not going to pick up my mail today. So I said, oh, I'll have to make a run to the post office. So I rescheduled my stream for 5 o'clock. And after I did that, I realized it's Labor Day. Yeah, they're closed. That's why they're not picking up my mail. So I already changed it. I didn't want to change it back, so it turns out I needed the time anyway. It's to get the thing going. So today's news day. I don't know. There's a lot of news going on. I went through and last news day. I'm trying to find sources that I can use. Creative Commons type sources that I can use, and or whatever, anything that's isn't copyrighted or behind a paywall or whatever. So I did I tried Democracy Now, and then I tried this other one called The Conversation last week, and this week I'm going back to Democracy Now. I'd like to find some other sources, have a variety of viewpoints and stuff like that, rather than just have only a few. That way we can get a more, broader view of what's going on, It's not too good if you just kind of stick with the stuff you agree with or whatever, or that's not good. if you narrow your stuff. I have eliminated almost entirely old media, TV and stuff like that, the mainstream stuff. I don't know, they're calling it mainstream now. I don't like to call it mainstream because it sounds like stream, like a streamer, They're not streaming, they're not this stuff. They're the opposite of what we do here. So I call them old media because they're old. They're the old way, Although that's kind of derogatory. Gives a derogatory spin to old, which is not good for me. So I don't know. So I've got. All right, I don't need that on anymore. That's okay. I can just leave that, I guess. There we go. So we'll, I guess, get into it. I found a few things here. There are some things that happened that are not on this site, at least not when I checked it a half hour ago. So I'm not sure. We'll just go through it and then we'll kind of explore a little bit and see what else is out there. All right, let me see if I can bring up my web browser. My OBS. I use Linux OBS. And there's no, for those of you who stream or understand what I'm talking about, there's no browser source in this thing, which means I kind of have to hack it a little bit and get it to work. But I think I've got it figured out. All right, so all right, let me bring up this page here. Now this is what I did is I went to the main thing here. I'll show you what I got here. This is Democracy Now, their website. Okay. They allow streamers and stuff to use their stuff, so that's good. And what they did is it says recent shows, and then they have headlines here. Headlines. But I don't see headlines for this one, today's show. Oh, here we go. Top story. Maybe it's there. Maybe I could try that. Let me try that. See if that won't do it. All right, let me bring it up here. All right. Now, I don't know why I can't just go to have like all the stories in one thing. That's the shows. Topics. These are topics. Okay, that seems kind of limiting what they're doing. All right, let me just do this. I'll just go to this headlines for this. This is last week, and then we'll work our way up to today. How's that? They don't have anything on the weekend though, so apparently they don't work on the weekend. All right, so here are their headlines. They got several things in here. Oh, I should have scanned this. Let me scan this for TOS stuff. Make sure there's nothing in here that I shouldn't. Sometimes the images might not be appropriate for Twitch. So, all right, nothing on this one. Let me scan this other one. I think that's okay. Nothing on that one. All right, I think we're... Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I think we're all right there. All right, so let me go over here, go up to the top here, and we'll just go through all the stories here really as quickly as we can. 9 Palestinians killed in Israel as Israel launches largest raid on West Bank in 2 decades. So that was the 28th. When was that? That was Wednesday, I think, wasn't it? 28th, Wednesday, yeah. So this is what they were reporting on Wednesday. So, yeah, Israel's going in the West Bank, too. At least 9 Palestinians were killed overnight as Israel's military carried out its largest raid on the occupied in 2 decades. Okay, on the occupied West Bank in 2 decades. Israeli soldiers backed by armored vehicles, bulldozers, fighter jets, and drones launched simultaneous raids on Jenin, Tulkarm, and Tubas. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society reports Jenin's 3 main hospitals were besieged with Israeli soldiers barring ambulances from transporting the wounded. Yeah. Other witnesses described Israeli bulldozers. So they're just doing their bad things. They're doing a lot of terrible stuff, killing a lot of people and just basically just destroying stuff. There's no. What they're doing has nothing to do with going after the people who attacked them. This is just revenge. It's just pure group revenge. That's what it is. Okay, Israeli attacks killed dozens in Gaza. Okay, so this is including 8 at school sheltering displaced Palestinians. So they're continuing in Gaza too. Looks like, okay. So dozens of Palestinians the past day. Among the dead are 6 people who were killed when an Israeli airstrike tore through residential buildings. Alright, Israeli forces rescue Bedouin Arab man kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th. So they got 1 hostage back. Now what's going on here is they're hostages, right? The Hamas or whoever's holding the hostages. And as long as they're holding hostages, then Netanyahu has a reason to continue his terrible stuff. So he doesn't want the hostages. He doesn't want the hostages rescued. If the hostages get rescued, then he loses his reason for doing all these horrible things that he's doing. So he doesn't want the hostages rescued. And one of the stories that I didn't see covered here, but I heard about, was that there's a big protest in Israel about that. You know, that he's not trying to get the hostages back. And so they had a big strike. You know, most of the people went on strike and did, you know, the people are turning against Netanyahu, which is good, I guess. I don't know. Although they're not protesting, protesting the atrocities that he's committing. They're protesting that he's not getting the hostages back. Apparently, I don't know. It's hard to, war. Truth is the first casualty of war, so we don't know what's going on for sure. Now, Zelensky rules out ceasefire as Russia continues largest aerial assault of its war on Ukraine. Yeah, they're not going to get a ceasefire. They're not going to get an agreement. You can't do. Russia is in violation of an agreement that they made with Ukraine. You know, so what was the Budapest Memorandum? They're in violation of that. This whole attack that they're doing against Ukraine is a violation of something they agreed to. So how can you agree? How can you come to an agreement with somebody on that? You can't. There's no. Their word is worthless. If they sign an agreement, it's totally worthless. They don't keep their agreements. So why? That's not going to be the solution here. The solution is that Ukraine is going to have to just go balls to the walls, and the rest of the world is going to have to support them, and they're going to have to win the war against Russia. That means taking down Putin and taking down Russia, invading Russia. Which doesn't sound possible, does it? That Ukraine could take Russia, but they could. They could take them if the world supported them. They could do it. Everybody thought when Russia was back in, when was it? I can't remember what year it was. They were on the border, the northern border of Ukraine, getting ready to attack. And everybody's saying, "Oh, this is going to be over real quickly. Russia's going to get in there and take over, and they're going to win. It's so easily." Blah blah blah. And when they were all saying it, I said, "No way. This is, Ukraine had NATO training. They're ready to. They can defend themselves, and And I supported giving Ukraine at that time at the beginning. If we would have given Ukraine everything. Giving them anything they needed to win that war right at the beginning, they could have won it. They could have just crushed Russia, but we didn't do that because the main driver of these wars is not political things or borders or anything like that. The main driver of these wars is to sell weapons. That's the main purpose of all these wars. To sell weapons and to keep oil off the market or control oil and other natural resources. That's the main thing. It has nothing to do with political disagreements, has nothing to do with anything else. It's selling weapons and controlling oil and other fossil fuels. In the case of Ukraine, it's mostly gas. So yeah, that's until the defense industry decides that they don't want this war anymore, then it's going to keep going. That's basically what's going to happen. So in Ukraine, at least 6 people were killed Tuesday as Russia's military continued a barrage of drone and missile attacks on critical infrastructure. Ukrainian officials have called the recent strikes the largest aerial assault since Russia's invasion in 2022. That's the year I was trying to remember. 22. That's when I think they started moving their troops around before that in 21. I think it was, but. On Tuesday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he hoped to present President Joe Biden with a plan for victory next month when he visits the United States for the UN General Assembly. Zelensky said he'd also share the proposal with with Harris, VP Harris, and the other guy, but Zelensky ruled out any immediate ceasefire with Russia. So he's got a plan. Okay, good. Hope it works. There can be no compromises with Putin. Yeah, here it is right here. There can be no compromises with Putin. Dialogue today is, in principle, empty and meaningless because he does not want to end the war diplomatically. He does not want it. He pretends to be ready for a diplomatic way, but under the condition of giving him 30% of our land. Yeah. And even that wouldn't work, right? They do. Even if they did that, even if Ukraine gave Putin 30% of their land, and they signed an agreement that said, okay, this is what we're agreeing to, then, the next week, Russia would, after Russia had that land in their control and everything, then the next week they'd go and invade and take more. What's to stop them, right? A piece of paper that he signs? It's not, and there's no international, the international community is not trying to stop this thing. They're trying to keep it going so they can sell more arms. Okay, next article. Let me do something here. Is there a way to adjust this? I guess not. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Let me check because I've been doing some stuff. Let me check my audio, make sure it's working. Appears to be working. Okay. IAEA chief warns Ukraine's advance on Russian power plant threatens nuclear catastrophe. The head of the IAEA is warning of the heightened risk of nuclear catastrophe after Ukrainian soldiers pressed their counteroffensive deeper into Russia and close to the Kursk nuclear power plant. Okay, so I don't think we need to get they're worried about a Chernobyl. Turns out this plant that they have is the same design as the Chernobyl plant. Now, why do they have, it doesn't have the containment dome or nothing. It's why is Russia running plants like that? They had this horrible Chernobyl catastrophe, a few decades ago, and they still have power plants that don't have the containment dome that have the same vulnerability. It's unbelievable that they still have those around. It's just ridiculous. Now they're fighting a war, and I don't know. Okay, so here's Afghan Taliban approves gender apartheid law banning women from speaking in public. God, that is just so freaking backwards. How can a society be like that? That's just unbelievable that they're like that. So, yeah, the morality police or whatever they got there that don't let women, they have to cover themselves. They can't say anything. It's, this is just, and ostensibly the U.S. went into Afghanistan because that's where they thought the terrorists were organizing or something. They went in there to keep the Afghani oil off the market. Afghan has a huge, relatively huge reserves of oil that are just untapped. So they want to keep things as backward and as screwed up as possible, so they don't get their shit together and pull that oil out of the ground. That's what's going on there. And this is just part of it, and the women are pissed off about it. They don't like it, obviously. So it's just trying to keep, they use religious tension and whatever, stuff, cultural stuff, cultural tensions, things like that, to try to get populations fighting each other. You know, they do that in the U.S. too. Yeah, people don't realize it. You know, the U.S. We didn't used to be an oil exporter. We used to import oil for a long time, and then they developed the shale oil, and we started getting our production much higher, and now we're exporting oil. And ever since we've been exporting oil, that's when things got really screwed up. I mean, it was already screwed up here, but that's when things really started. You could tell there was an exogenous force going on, causing disruption in the U.S. You know, trying to turn the population against itself. So you think that we're immune to this? No, we're not. We're, you know, any country that has oil and is able to export oil and influence the market is a target, you know, for that kind of stuff, including the U.S. Indian police fire tear gas as protesters decry rape and murder of medical trainee. Okay, so there's some incident in India, and people just protested a particular incident. I don't think that really affects anything. Let me just read this really quick, see if there's anything. No, it doesn't. I don't think there's anything underlying that. Maybe there is. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, but it looks like it's just a spot news type thing. Jack Smith files amended indictment of blah blahs over January 6th insurrection. Okay. So, the news from Washington, Special Counsel Jack Smith has fired a revised indictment against a criminal for his efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. The criminal faces the same criminal charges in the case, but Smith reworked parts of the original indictment after the Supreme Court granted the criminal broad immunity for official acts he took as president. Okay. Let's see, how do we do this here? Alright, I'm taking a little break here just for a second to do some maintenance stuff here that needs to be done. There we go. I think that'll do it. No, that didn't do it. Sorry, I gotta take care of something here. Just take care. Not sure how to do this. Maybe I can do this up here. Sorry about that. I thought I had this thing wired here. But all right. This is kind of weird. God damn. Why do they make this so fucking hard, man? I'm trying to do somebody spammed my chat here, and I'm trying to figure out how to. There it is. Ban them. Banned. Okay. Jesus. Why do they make that so fucking hard to figure out, man? Alright. Okay, back to the news. Alright, special counsel. Alright, we already did that, right? Okay, so he's doing it again. The Supreme Court. I don't know. This is kind of an effort in futility, right? The Supreme Court is going to block anything to indict Trump, right? To put him in prison. They're going to block anything. They just changed it so the president has unlimited power to do anything without repercussions. You know. So I mean, it's a mistake to even be following the Supreme Court, even respecting the Supreme Court at this point. I don't know why these prosecutors and everybody are even following what the Supreme Court is saying at this point. I think they just, look at the Constitution, try to figure out themselves, because the Supreme Court is certainly not following the Constitution. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, RFK endorsed Trump. What the? Tulsi Gabbard to transition. Tulsi Gabbard. She never was a Democrat. She pretended to be a Democrat. I met her once. I met Tulsi Gabbard once. She's in Hawaii, and Hawaii is just blue Democrat as Democrat can get. It's just Republicans don't have a chance to do anything in Hawaii. So she was a Republican, but she lived in Hawaii. The only choice she had was to be a Democrat if she wanted to do anything politically. But she's basically a Republican, just running as a Democrat. And then she tried to, advance her career, but she was kind of stuck. She really couldn't go. That's why parties are one of the reasons why parties are so, screwed up, trying to keep, especially just have two parties, So, all right, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., yeah. She's a vegan, by the way, or vegetarian, I think. So I actually, when she was running for president, I actually thought about supporting her because she was vegan, or vegetarian. I forget which it is now. But she was just too out there to support. Okay, so Mexico freezes diplomatic relations after U.S. and Canada criticize judicial reform plan. That sounds like a biggie. God, talk about burying the headline here. Mexico freezes diplomatic relations with the U.S. and Canada? What the hell? That's a big deal, man. Wow. In Mexico, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has paused relations with the U.S. and Canadian embassies after the two countries criticized Mexico's efforts to reform its judicial system. Why would part of the reform calls for judges to be elected by popular vote? What are the other parts of the reform? Why is the U.S. criticizing them? This is kind of incomplete here. Part of the reform calls for judges to be elected by popular vote. Mexico's president-elect Claudia Sheinbaum, who will take office on October 1st, has defended the proposed changes. Okay. And the president says, what's wrong with electing judges? I don't see anything wrong with it. Especially if the judges are going to make law. We got a Supreme Court now that's basically making law. They're making it up. So you can't have representatives making law that are not accountable to the people. That's not even close to democracy, right? That's an oligarchy. This is a good idea. If the judges are going to be political, then make them political. Elect them. So I'd like to look at there's something missing here though, because I don't know why. I'd like to find out why the U.S. was what they said, what the statement from the U.S. was that caused this. Let's see if we can figure that out. Hang on just a second here. I'm gonna I'm going to go searching for this one. This one I'm going to look into because that's a big deal, you know. That's Mexico and the U.S., you know, sometimes we have little arguments and stuff. But that's to suspend diplomatic relations. That's a huge. That's blunt, man. That's a blunt diplomatic instrument, you know. Let's let me go to Wikipedia, and I'll go look up U.S. Mexico relations. Let's see. Do we have that? There it is. Okay, Mexico-U.S. relations. Let me make sure. Let me scan this. Make sure we don't have anything in here that I don't want to put on Twitch. Well, it's a big long article. What do we got here? Yeah, you know, Twitch has rules against certain things and stuff, so you gotta, before you put anything on, you gotta make sure that it's okay. And Wikipedia is anybody can post something to Wikipedia, so sometimes you can go to Wikipedia and find stuff that's not what you wanted in their articles and stuff. So, okay, history since 1945. So let me go here. So this is the article about Mexico and U.S. relations. So, Biden administration. All right, let's see. Okay, in 2023. Okay, well, they don't have the latest here. They don't have the latest. So the Wikipedia editors are a little behind here. Normally when there's something in the news like that that's really big, they'll get right on it. But, okay. All right, so let's see if we can find it on Google. I'll just do Google, and then we'll see if we can find a source. All right, so let's see. Mexico. Mexico diplomatic relations, and then I'll click news. Okay. All right, so this is what I got so far. I got Google. I searched for Mexico diplomatic relations. So this is how you're supposed to do news. This is how I do news. I'll put it that way. But if you want to use critical thinking, critical reasoning when you're looking at what you're seeing from media sources, you got to do a process similar to this. If you read something that doesn't, and it takes a while to get enough experience and knowledge and skill or whatever to be able to do this, but you got to learn how to do it. It's important. So you can't just read what a news source says and say, oh, okay, that's the way it is. You don't do it that way. So we went to this news, just to follow up on what we're doing here. We were at Democracy Now!, and they got this thing, right, that says that Mexico freezes diplomatic relations. This was last week on Wednesday. And that's a big deal, right? So you got to know that that's a big deal. Because Mexico, we're neighbors with Mexico. We're supposed to be friends, So what's going on there? And they're saying that this is because Mexico is electing their judges now, and the U.S. said something that Mexico didn't like. Right? That's what they said here. After the two countries criticized Mexico's efforts to reform its judiciary system. Right? So what about the reform? Do they not like? Is it the fact that they're electing judges? Because there are a lot of jurisdictions in the United States where judges are elected all over the place. You know, so that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. So what is going on? There must be something else going on there. There must be something else behind this. And that's what triggered me to say, okay, I got to find out what's going on. This is important. Well, number one, it's important. It's an important thing. You know, diplomatic relations with Mexico, and to have something this severe happen, that's very important. The story's important. That's number one. Number two is there's something that doesn't make sense here. Why would the U.S. criticize Mexico about reforming their judiciary system to do something that the U.S. already does in a lot of its jurisdictions? That doesn't make sense. So I want to find out what's going on here. And the way this is worded, it says the two countries criticized Mexico's efforts to reform its judiciary system. So first it said that the Mexican president paused relations with the U.S. and Canadian embassies after the two countries criticized Mexico's efforts to reform its judiciary system. It doesn't say because of, it just said after. So what else happened? You know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff in here. And then it says part of the reform calls for judges to be elected by popular vote. But it doesn't say that was the reason for things. So what we need to do is find out what the U.S. and Canada said. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So this is how you go about it. Right? You know, I don't follow these things close enough to you know, I don't know what the latest is on our relations with Mexico. I don't know what's been leading up to this or anything like that. You know, maybe if I did, maybe I would be able to fill in the blanks without having to do this. But I got to do this because I don't know. You know. Okay. Well, there's that same story we just read, right? That's not going to give us any more information. Building diplomacy. Newsweek. AP. So I don't see anything there that's LA Times. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. 6 days ago. Let's see. Today, U.S. Senators. Okay. Well, this is public domain, right? This is a Senate website. They're talking about judicial reforms in Mexico. Okay, so let me go to that. All right. So this is a press release put out by a Senate committee, the Foreign Relations Committee. So it's an official thing, and I think, right? This isn't like some Senate.gov, yeah. All right, so all these senators concerned with proposed judicial reforms in Mexico. Okay. Cardin, Risch, is that how you say his name? Risch, Kane, and Rubio. I've met Rubio before, too. There's two people in the news that I've met before. With proposed judicial reforms in Mexico. Today, U.S. Senators Ben Cardin, Jim Risch, if that's how you pronounce his name, Risch, Chair and Ranking Member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, along with Tim Kaine, Marco Rubio, Chair and Ranking Member of the Subcommittee on Western Hemisphere, issued a statement expressing deep concern about proposed constitutional reforms in Mexico that would undermine judicial independence and risk violating the terms of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Okay, that's a lot more in there than what was in that story, right? There's more going on there. So I knew there was something, right? I smelled the rat. So I went to it, find out what was going on. So there's more there. Let's see. An independent and transparent judiciary is a hallmark of any democratic country. We are deeply concerned that the proposed judicial reforms in Mexico would undermine the independence and transparency of the country's judiciary, jeopardizing critical economic and security interests shared by our two nations. Economic and security interests. It's kind of interesting. Nothing about democracy or anything like that. It's economic and security interests. We are also alarmed that several other constitutional reforms currently under discussion may contradict commitments made in the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, which is scheduled for review in 2026. We strongly urge the Lopez Obrador administration, as well as the incoming Sheinbaum administration, to pursue only those reforms that enhance professional qualifications, combat corruption, interesting, combat corruption, protect judicial autonomy, and strengthen investor confidence. That's what this is about, huh? Again, he didn't mention democracy. Professional qualifications, corruption, judicial autonomy, strengthen investor. These considerations are essential to preserving. Oh, they're here now. They finally get to they put it at the end. You can see what their priorities are. What the last thing is. These considerations are essential to preserving the democratic values and mutual prosperity. Again, mutual prosperity that unite our nations. Okay, so it apparently it was this, right? I don't know if the administration said anything about it. We can go back to Google to see if there was anything else. If this sounds like this is probably what it was. Is these senators put out this press release or whatever, and so I guess the next thing is to find out what it is about this proposal. They didn't mention anything about voting, judges being elected here in their statement, right? The article that we went to, the big thing was, remember this? Part of the reforms call for judges to be elected by popular vote. In the U.S., the U.S. is critical, elected by popular vote. But you go to there's nothing in here about them complaining about popular vote. So that's an issue, isn't it? So unless somebody else in the administration or someone else in the U.S. government, put out a different press release somewhere else that criticized popular vote, that's not what that was about, was it? Let's see here. Let's see if there are any more takes on this. People's Dispatch. Relations on pause. I don't know which of these sources I can actually look at. NPR. Do they make their stuff available for free? I don't know. Mexico's president says country will break diplomatic ties with Ecuador. Wow. Okay. What is that about? Oh, that was April 6th. That was a while ago. Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't know they did. Ecuador's been having some issues, so I guess that's not that surprising. Let's see. Pauses diplomatic relations with the U.S. U.S. Department of State, U.S. relations with Mexico. Okay, that was a while ago. Let me see if they've got an update here on that, just for... Okay, this is it's too, this is old. There's nothing in there about that. Free criticize judicial reform plan. Why am I getting all this old stuff? I click news. Doesn't that kind of imply that I want new stuff if I click news? Come on, Google. What are you doing? Let's see. Recent. Past week. All right. That's kind of weird. Why would they give me stuff that's really old? Next clause related to U.S. Embassy amid clash over judicial overhaul. New York Times probably has some good stuff in there, but I can't stream their stuff. It's not open. That's got to be it, right? There's nothing in there. Yeah. A lot of news places are covering it, which they should. This is a big deal. I wonder how much mainstream media covered this. You know, they had to have mentioned it, right? I mean, like, you know, TV, nightly news type stuff. Okay. I'm going to try something else here. I'm going to go to whitehouse.gov and see if they put out any okay, briefing room. Okay, I guess this is okay, right? They're not going to have anything in here that this is pretty. All right, fact sheet. Biden names 54th round of partners. Okay, statement from the government on the District of Columbia, or District Court's order. Families together. Statement of President Biden on the price of anti-obesity medications. Okay, this story came out, when was it? The 28th, right? So, all right, I don't see anything in there. Let me see. Maybe they're. Okay, read out for the Situation Room. Gaza. Okay. Letter. Turn plan of pay adjustments to civilian employees. We're in National Preparedness Month. Oh. National Preparedness Month. I don't know about that. Let me find out. I'm going to put that up here just as on a side. Let me go to that. I want to see what that says. Proclamation of National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. Proclamation. Okay. Proclamation. Okay, statement from President Joe Biden. Inflation report. Okay. Press conference. Joe Biden approves New York disaster. Okay. Read out. National Security Advisor Sullivan's meeting with Xi Jinping. Administrator takes action to deliver more projects more quickly. Okay, this is all just. Names 54th round of judicial nominees. Oh. 28th, okay, a little bit more here. Alright, that's 27th, so. Okay, there was nothing official. There was no, like, press release or anything that the White House put out about it. So my guess is that they were just that Mexico is reacting to this from these senators here, and I don't know what Canada, what they said. And this does have a Democratic senator in here. So it's not like it's just the Republicans and Tim Kaine. So, I mean, you know. But they weren't complaining about the vote in any. There wasn't anything mentioned here about the vote. So, I guess we could research more about what the exactly what the proposal is. You know, for the judiciary reform in Mexico. But I don't know. I guess I could go to. Let me try one more thing here. All right, I'm going to this Wikipedia page on Mexico, and I'm going to search for judiciary. Government politics. Didn't say. Okay. All right. I'm going to search. I'm going to search the article for judiciary. Most Mexicans have a low confidence in the police or the judicial system. Therefore, few crimes are actually reported by the citizens. That's what the Wikipedia article says about law enforcement. Let's see here what else it says. Okay, there's nothing in here about judicial reform that I can see in the Wikipedia article. So this is going to take a lot more research for me to get this figured out. I definitely want to put that on my to-do list to figure that out, I think. But that's just weird, you know. There must be more to that judicial reform than just having a vote, you know. You know, it could be a power play or something, you know, by the government trying to just, you know, you know, they mentioned transparency, you know, in that thing, in that statement that the senators put out. So, and it's not like it's a political thing. There's Republican, Democratic senators in there. So. And to break off, or to pause diplomatic relations, that is such a huge, blunt diplomatic tool to use. It's just bizarre that Mexico would do that. You know, I don't see anything. You know, I mean, you know, normally, you know, governments don't want to get into internal affairs of other countries. You know, you don't normally do that. So for our senators to do that, especially being bipartisan like that, there must be something in that judicial reform plan that they're doing that is setting off alarms in the Senate, in the U.S. Senate. Not that, I mean, the Senate is corrupt too. I mean, you know, which it's not like this. The senators are all angels either, you know. So there's something going on there. I know I have to do more research to see what's going on. All right, let's go back to, okay, that was the last. Oh no, wait, no, it wasn't. Okay. Yeah, that was the last. So that was the last article in in Democracy Now's thing for the 28th. So now we can go to the 29th, right? So we can get rid of this. Go here. I think this is the 29th. Yeah, 29th. We'll go. Maybe I have to do the news more often. Because it's already been an hour, not even halfway through yet. I'll have to speed this up. Rather than try to get it all done in one day, maybe I'll have to do it 2 days or something. It's depressing doing the news, though, you know. It's not. I don't like the. It makes me sad. I'm sure it makes my my viewers sad too. I have somebody in chat. This is a live stream on Twitch for those of you watching on the VOD, and Twitch has a facility for people who are watching live to chat with streamers, and I have somebody, a first-time chatter in chat, Saint Ritual, who says, "Hello, sir." Hello, Saint Ritual. How are you? What do you got? How long you been watching? I think he's gone. Okay. If he comes back, we'll talk to him. Israeli attacks kill another 68 Palestinians. And polio. Yeah, there's polio. That's just, how does that happen, I thought, didn't we wipe out polio? I thought polio was gone or almost gone. Especially there, and that's a little sus, that all of a sudden polio breaks out, So, WFP suspends staff travel in Gaza after Israeli attacks convoy. World Food Program. Okay, so people are, organizations try to help the people out, and Israel wants to do group punishment, and so they're shooting at the people that are trying to help the civilians. How fucked up is that, man? All right, Israel escalates invasion of occupied West Bank. Okay, this is the other side, right? West Bank. Maybe I should do we have a map? People know, right? People know where the West Bank is, right? It's different. It's different than it's the Gaza Strip is over by the Mediterranean there, and then this is the West Bank on the other side. The west side. I got the West Bank. All right, Israel is continuing its largest raids on the occupied West Bank in decades. Overnight, the Palestinian death toll rose to at least 18 as Israeli forces pushed into Jenin. Okay, this is the same article we were just talking about. So they're just covering more of it, just saying, updating or whatever. All right, that's very sad. EU weighs sanctions on Israeli ministers propagating hate messages against Palestinians. Okay. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, warned that Israel's incursion into the West Bank must not be the premise of a war extension from Gaza. Where's this guy? Has this guy been under a rock? It's all over. It's all over the Middle East. What is he talking about? He doesn't want it to extend. Are you kidding me? Iran's involved. Syria, Lebanon. I mean, where is this? He doesn't want it to spread from Gaza. Where is this guy? This guy's doesn't know what he thinks it's still limited to Gaza. Yes, EU members about possible sanction on Israeli ministers who called for the destruction of the West Bank and the Palestinian people. God, they're just crazy. What is going on there? Why are we supporting this country? Why are we still sending them arms? This is ridiculous. How can you, Yeah, that's it. All right, Egypt rejects Israeli troops on border. Namibia blocks vessel heading to Israel with weapons. Egypt rejects Israeli troops on border. Namibia blocks vessel heading to Israel with weapons. Okay, so these, yeah, Namibia and Egypt, those are two different, way different places. But it's a vessel heading to Israel with weapons. And why from Namibia? Why would blocks vessel? Namibia. Oh, actually, I see what it is. Namibia. Okay, we got to bring up a map here. Let's get this figured out here. All right. Whoops. No, I don't want that. Let's see. Let's put this over here. Try to bring up a map here. There we go. Okay, I think this will work. Did that work? We got a map. There we go. We got a map. Okay. So Israel's right in here. Israel and Palestine. And they're talking about, what did they say now? They said Egypt rejects Israeli troops on border, and in Namibia blocks vessel heading to Israel with weapons. So all right, so this is Egypt, right? There's Israel. So Israel went all the way down to here. You know the story, right? Gaza Strip is in there. I don't even think we would be able to see it on this map. But yeah, I guess we can. They don't even show Gaza on this map. Gaza Strip is over here. You see that with my little pointer there? Is my pointer showing up? Yeah. Yeah, Gaza Strip is there. And there's the West Bank. And so they told, when Israel attacked, they attacked the northern part of Gaza and told everybody to go down to near Egypt in Rafah. And once everybody was there, then they attacked them there in Rafah, and so they had no place to go. And then Egypt is rejecting having Israel along the border here, including the Rafah border crossing and the Philadelphia corridor. I don't know what that is. Philadelphia corridor. I'd have to look that up. That's got to be right somewhere along here, right? Israel's military presence in the Philadelphia corridor has become a point of contention in ceasefire talks, which Cairo has been hosting. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, what was the other one? Namibia. So Namibia is down here. Way down here. Totally different area, you know. So apparently there was a ship coming from somewhere that went to Namibia, and Namibia blocked it from going to Israel with weapons. Well, let's read about that. So now we know. Now we know what's going on here, right? We got this figured out where the what we're looking at here. That flipped it. Okay, good. All right, so let's read what they're talking about here now that we got ourselves oriented halfway here. Philadelphia core. I don't think we need to, it's somewhere around on the border between Egypt and Israel, right? It's got to be. Okay, in other related news, Namibia has blocked a vessel suspected of carrying explosive weapons to Israel from docking at its ports. Oh, okay. It didn't like seize the vessel or something. It just didn't want them to dock at its ports. Rights group had warned Namibian officials that allowing the vessel to dock could implicate Namibia in potential human rights violations. Okay, good on Namibia there for doing that, right? Good. They don't say where it came, where was the ship coming from, you know? I wish they had just a little bit more information on these things, you know. But this is just the format of these headlines. I guess we could. Do they have a? They don't have a link. Maybe they'd have a link to a more detailed article or something on their website, but I guess not. Okay. It's probably come from the U.S. or you know, although I don't know why it would go that way. Kind of weird. Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be coming from the U.S. and then going around instead of going into the Mediterranean. That doesn't make sense either. U.S. rejects resumption of nuclear talks after overture by Iran. Oh, that's interesting. Now, why would we do that? The Biden administration has rebuffed the prospect of resuming nuclear talks with Iran after Tehran expressed its willingness to return to the negotiating table. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, yes, is that right, gave Iran's new president, the reformist Masoud Pezeshkian. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm not even going to try. The okay. All right, so the supreme leader. All right, so it's the way Iran's organized. They've got a president, and they have elections and everything, you know, and local elections and the whole thing. They have a president, but the supreme leader can veto stuff. Kind of like our Supreme Court. Instead of supreme leader with a religious title, we have a Supreme Court. We've got 9 guys in robes who can do the same thing here in the U.S. Basically the same system. So the Ayatollah gave the new president, because the old president died right after, he died in a plane or a helicopter crash recently. So they got a new president, and he gave the new president the okay Tuesday to relaunch talks with Washington. Okay. But the U.S. State Department spokesman told reporters shortly after the news, "We are far away from anything like that right now." Okay. So, yeah, the U.S. and Iran have always been kind of a weird relationship, you know. It's like, you know, what the two countries say is a little bit different, a lot different than what they do a lot of times. You know, the U.S. and Iran are always saying bad things about each other, you know, or criticizing each other a lot, you know, and being antagonistic. But, you know, when push comes to shove, they always tend to, you know, or a lot of times can end up doing what helps the U.S., you know. And the U.S. often does what helps Iran, you know. So it's kind of weird. Kind of weird relationship there. So they're trying the nuclear talks, you know, I don't know what's going on there. All right, Hong Kong convicts pro-democracy editors of Stand News of sedition. Yeah, there's Hong Kong, right? They used to be like the, just, you know, one of the places in the world where freedom was, you know, shining light in the hill, all that kind of stuff, you know. They used to be, used to be really democratic and free and all that kind of stuff. And then they got turned over to China, and now China's just being assholes in Hong Kong. So that's kind of screwed. All right, U.S. National Security Advisor meets Chinese President Xi Jinping. Okay, that was last week. Jake Sullivan. Okay. We kind of saw that when we were scanning the press releases out of Washington, out of the administration. We saw something about that, right? Okay, capping off a rare 3 days of talks between Biden administration official and Chinese leaders. The U.S. and China have agreed to hold more military talks and set a call between President Biden and Xi Jinping will be planned in the coming weeks. Top Chinese military officer also asked Jake Sullivan during a meeting to end U.S. collusion with Taiwan, over which China claims sovereignty. Yeah, that's a weird thing. You folks know what's going on with Taiwan and China, right? If I can remember the story. Back in the 40s, was it? The big revolution, right? Communist revolution in China, and then the communists won basically, and all the folks that were there before the communist revolution, the anti-communists, went to Taiwan and took refuge there, and then they kind of ended up with a standoff between the mainland China and Taiwan. And for a long time, the U.S. recognized Taiwan as the official government of China, because Taiwan, the name is Taiwan Republic of China, and in China mainland is People's Republic of China. It's more commie sounding, and Taiwan's more republic. I don't know, whatever it is. So liberal. I don't know, liberalism. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, so they had a standoff, and it's just kind of it just continued ever since the end of the war, and so yeah, for a long time the U.S. recognized Taiwan as the government of China, and then when Nixon was in there in the 70s, he opened up diplomatic relations with mainland China, and I forget when it happened, but at some point the U.S. came out and flipped and went and said that the mainland China was going to be their they would recognize mainland China as the government, or they don't actually recognize them as the government. They say they deal with mainland China. What's this? Well, I forget the exact wording, but they did it very ambiguously, so that we're not saying that mainland China is the government. They worded it ambiguously, so it could be either one. And that's how they kind of ended that diplomatic standoff, or set it so that it was not going to break out into war. And that happens sometimes diplomatically. A lot of times the resolution of the diplomatic standoff is to come up with an ambiguous statement that can be interpreted multiple ways, and each side interprets the statement their own way, and so each side can say they won, but in reality it's just there's still a standoff, and they do that sometimes. That's how diplomacy works, I guess. They use ambiguity sometimes in diplomacy to prevent all-out conflict, and it's worked, I guess. They haven't fought each other; they just war of words, So yeah, when we have diplomatic relations now with China, mainland China, and with Taiwan, and we would probably, if China, China wants, is always talking about, we're going to reunite China, because they think they're in charge of China. Taiwan thinks they're in charge of China. So mainland China thinks that Taiwan is part of their turf, right? They're in charge of Taiwan, but they're not. And Taiwan says they're the legitimate government of China still. So mainland China wants to, they say reunite. They want to take over Taiwan like they did with Hong Kong, and fuck it up. So that's what's going on there. And that's why the U.S. is worried about China attacking Taiwan. They won't do it that way. They'll figure out a way to do it diplomatically if it happens at all. But and if they did, U.S. would likely defend Taiwan militarily. So China didn't want that. And in fact, Biden even said, what was it, about 2 years ago or something like that? He came out and said, yeah, the U.S. would militarily support China or Taiwan if China attacked Taiwan. And then after that, they said, oh no, wait, no, we didn't mean to say that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to the U.S. is trying to be ambiguous about whether or not we would support Taiwan militarily. Of course we would, but they do it and they make some ambiguity there, so it makes it more difficult for mainland China to plan what to do. If we said yes, we definitely would defend Taiwan militarily, then that would be a variable that would no longer be a variable for China in their strategic calculation. So we keep it ambiguous, so it makes it more difficult for them to plan. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. In Beijing, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Okay, we already did that. Top Chinese military asked during to end collusion with Taiwan. Right. Okay, so that's over which China claims. Okay, so I just did that. Right. So it's the same old, right? And all that's done behind closed doors. There's no transparency or anything, so we don't know. Honduras ends extraction treaty with U.S. over ambassador's narco-trafficking allegations. Okay, I don't know. Honduras. Honduras is south of Mexico, right? South on the Caribbean side. So that's where that is. And so we pissed off another country. U.S. ambassador denounced Honduran officials and implied they were working with drug traffickers. U.S. accusation came after Honduran Defense Minister Jose Manuel Zelaya met with his Venezuelan counterpart Vladimir Padrino, who was indicted by the U.S. on drug trafficking charges in 2020. This is Honduran Foreign Minister. Okay, I don't know. So there's something going on there. Everybody's two corrupt countries fighting about each other about saying who's more corrupt, right? Rights groups sound alarm as Texas GOP purges 1 million voters from rolls. Jesus. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Monday his state has removed more than 1 million people from its voter rolls since the 2020 election. Holy cow. So they're saying half of them have died or moved out of Texas. Some of them didn't change their address. Wow. Why did they do this right before the election, I don't think they should be able to remove somebody from, being able to vote unless they give notification. I mean, the guy who serves process when somebody gets sued, comes to the door and gets them, says, hey, here, you're being served, sign this thing. They should do that. They have to make sure that before anybody gets taken off and lose their right to vote, that they have affirmative, evidence that that person was notified that they're being taken off the voter roll. Because otherwise, you're going to have all these people showing up to the polls, and then they're going to say, "No, you're not registered," and then they can't vote. And it's this big hassle. This is bullshit. Why are they doing that? It seems like more and more. It never used to be like this. If somebody would propose something like that, or propose anything to prevent somebody from speaking or doing anything like that, they'd be politically dead. They would have no chance to have any say so in anything anymore if somebody proposed something like this. Now today it's like it's regular stuff. Yeah, 30 years ago, if they proposed something like this, anybody who proposed this would be gone. They would have no political future left if they proposed something like this. And now here that they got the governor of Texas who's doing this. It's like you gotta support free speech and the right to vote and everything, even for people who are on the other side of your position. If you try to silence people who say things that you don't agree with, or you try to prevent people from voting who you don't agree with, that's not a tactic you do in a democracy, because in the end, both sides end up doing that, and it becomes normative, and then you lose democracy. You have to support the people you disagree with, their right, at least their civil rights. You don't support their position, of course, but you support their right to speak. You support their right to vote. You support their right to be politically active, even if you disagree with what their position is. Okay, union workers at Cornell University win historic pay increase after 10-day strike. Okay, union workers. Cornell University. Okay, so somebody got a raise. doing union activity. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so that was the 29th, so now we're to the 30th. Is that what this is? Let's see here. I think I already scanned this, so we should be okay. Okay, so now we're up to Friday. Okay. Who readies to start Gaza polio vaccine drive after Israel agrees to 3-day partial pause? Okay, so they're taking the weekend to vaccinate people against polio. Okay, I don't think we need to go any more into that. Who is the World Health Organization? Corrupt as hell, but Israeli forces continue deadly assault on West Bank's Jenin, giving Tulkarm and Tubas in ruins, leaving. Okay, this is the same article they had on Wednesday and on Thursday, and now they're having it on Friday again. So, and it's a big deal, right? They're doing fallout, into the West Bank, so that is a big deal. It's a big story. It's very sad. Okay, Hamas. What do we got? Kamal. Okay, Harris. Okay, I don't care what they say. Okay, I don't care what they say. All right, Arlington National Cemetery. Yeah, I skipped over those articles because it's about politicians. I don't care what the politicians say. I care what they do. I got my list of what I want the politicians to do. And come election day, if they're not done, then I vote for. I don't vote for the incumbent. I vote for the other guy. And if I can't stand the other guy, I vote for the third or fourth guy or whatever. That's how I do it. So, Arlington National Cemetery files report after some asshole's aides attack an employee. So, okay. All right. Okay, South Korea court finds climate law. The reason I passed that up is it's very important that we honor people and stuff like that, but it doesn't affect anything. It's just a distraction. You know what I mean? It just takes up bandwidth. South Korea court finds climate law violates rights of future generations. Okay, that's good. Let's see what this says. South Korea's Constitutional Court ruled Thursday the country's climate law violates the rights of future generations. In a major victory for the youth climate movement, the landmark decision finds the absence of legally binding greenhouse gas reduction targets is counter to the South Korean Constitution and shifts too large of a burden on the country's future generations. Climate activists in Seoul celebrated the decision. Okay. That's somebody named Yoon something. Our focus will shift to legislative and administrative capacity next. I plan to find ways to drive change through these areas in the near future. I'm planning a campaign targeting the National Assembly. So activists, good. Climate activists had a win. That's good in South Korea. Okay, Bangladesh. Okay, heavy flooding brings death, displacement, and disease in Sudan, Yemen, and Bangladesh. Okay, these places are not exactly next to each other, so I don't know. Let me bring up my map again here if I still have it. All right. So this is our map. So what were the places? Sudan. Okay, this is Sudan here. And Yemen. That's Yemen. So those two are close next to each other. But Bangladesh is way over here. So they're not. It's just. I don't know. If it doesn't seem like that would be the same storm or whatever that's causing the flooding or same situation. So I guess they just put the flood stories all in one. I don't know. In Bangladesh, ongoing flooding has killed at least 52 people and displaced 500,000. In Yemen, at least 33 people are dead and dozens more missing after flooding from monsoon rains triggered mudslides that swept through a district controlled by the Houthi movement. Okay, there are also reports of more than 1,000 cholera cases in Sudan, where the UN says over 300,000 people have been impacted by recent flooding, worsening an already dire humanitarian crisis. Residents of the city of Tokar in Sudan's Red Sea state have been leaving on foot after the Arbat Dam collapsed. Oh man, washing away bridges and roads. God, yeah, Sudan is really having. They have a war going on there, some sort of civil war. I need to learn more about that. What's going on there? But that's really bad. Record wildfires in Brazil rage across Amazon. Pantanal wetlands. I don't even know where that is. Okay. Klamath River flows freely again after crews take down last dam. Yeah, this whole dam thing is kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Dams make a lot of electricity, so it's kind of a trade-off. Whether to keep the dams. Also, if they've been there for a long time, then you're kind of like disrupting the ecosystem when you take the dam down. So we need more electricity from non-fossil fuel sources. So, but I don't know enough about that one. So. East Timor marks 25 years of independence. Oh, okay, so this is like a big celebration in East Timor. Yeah, let's show you where that is. So this is East Timor is over here, I think. I think that's it there. This is Indonesia, and that's Malaysia. So East Timor is here, I think. I think that's East Timor, way out there. See that? Where that is. So they're talking about them getting independence from the rest of Malaysia. Here's from Indonesia rather. So this is Indonesia, this big thing here. And East Timor is there. And they got independence, so they're talking about that. 25th anniversary. Okay. They voted to be independent. Oh, that's good. Okay, yeah, they're talking about, yeah, there was violence involved, but it was a vote in the end. Okay. All right, so that's good. Immigrant prisoners in California are on labor and hunger strike against their inhumane detention. Well, that's no good. I thought California was like a liberal. At least when I used to live there, that used to be all Democrat and liberal and all that. There were some Republicans, I guess, but okay. Back in the U.S., dozens of detainees at 2 immigrant prisons in California relaunched hunger strikes, inhumane treatment. Okay. All right. Just open the border. Let people live where they want to live. That's my opinion. Okay. 4 arrested at University of Michigan Gaza protests. Pro-Palestinian students at Columbia, New York University face censorship. Police in Ann Arbor arrest 4 protesters at the University of Michigan Wednesday as they attempted to hold a peaceful die-in protest against Israel's assault on Gaza. The experts said, "We will not celebrate back to school as University of Michigan invests in and funds genocide." Yeah, why? Yeah, I thought everybody stopped. At least all the private organizations are have kind of, aren't they like boycotting Israel or something? I thought everybody was doing that now. Okay, here in New York. Wait. Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine reports their Instagram account has been permanently banned with no reason provided. Well, that's no good. Instagram, let's see. Who owns Instagram? Okay, meanwhile, as students return to the classroom at New York University, the administration has issued a new code of conduct stating use of the word Zionist could violate non-discrimination anti-harassment policies. No, it doesn't. That's a political thing. It's not racist or anything like that. All right. Painters Union to divest pension fund from Israeli firms to protest Gaza genocide. Painters Union. What Painters Union? International Union of Painters and Allied Trades says his union is directing a massive international pension fund to divest from Gaza genocide. Oh, okay, good. So some of them out there doing it. Anyway, okay. Video game performers enter second month of strike, seeking protections from AI. Good luck with that. Yeah, AI is going to take everybody's job. What do you know? Wow. Hey. We got this is let me interrupt here for a second. Okay, we got another one here, but oh wait, I got the wrong. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Got. This is a Twitch stream. This is a live stream. Okay, on Twitch right now. If you're watching this on the VOD on a recording, this is a live stream on Twitch. Twitch has a facility that allows people to chat to streamers, and streamers can talk to the people. And Bao Bun Ba Bo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Bao, is a friend of the channel, and they put in the chat a comment that says, "So damned if you do, and damned if you don't." Okay, that must have been on the dam story. Yeah, yeah, that's very clever. Damned if you do, and damned if you don't. And they spelled it D-A-M-E-D. Yeah. Yeah, the dams is kind of interesting. The whole thing, but I think there are technologies now where they can harness that power without having a demand, without having a dam. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Oh, hey, no, that was very clever. I like it. It was very funny. We needed a little bit of relief here. A lot of this news is not very good. So, yeah, I think there are ways now that technologies that kind of like paddle wheel type stuff, but using turbines or something, where they put them inside the river and it can run a turbine or something without having a dam. But the cool thing about it having a dam in terms of generating electricity is that you can control it in its storage. So that when they need the electricity, they let the water flow from the dam, and it goes through the turbines, and they make the electricity when they need it. And then when they don't need it, they can stop that and have the water reserved in the dam. So it's kind of like a storage thing, which is a big deal right now because a lot of the renewable energy sources are not storable. They're not like on demand. You got solar, which just it makes the electricity when the sun's out, and wind makes the electricity when it's windy, and that's it. But like a gas power plant, they can turn it on or turn it off when they need to. And to some extent, nuclear is kind of on all the time, but they can pull the rods in and out and control that a little bit. Yeah, I think they have technology now where they can make electricity from the flowing river without having to have a dam there. But they have to. The storage is the big issue now. What do you do with all that electricity when you don't need it? When the water's running, that's when the electricity is going to be made, and that may not be the time that you actually need the electricity when the demand is on. So the storage is a big deal. They have some dams that are their purpose is to store energy. So like when there's too much energy, when all these other sources are making energy, and they're not. There isn't demand for the energy, they will take and pump the water up into the dam during that time. So they're using the electricity that's not being used otherwise and put it up in the dam. And then at a time when maybe the solar is not available and the wind is not available, but the demand is higher, then they'll let the water flow out from the dam through turbines to make more electricity. And they use the dam as storage. And it's pretty efficient, I think. Surprisingly, I think they had like 80% or something, or it's actually a pretty efficient way of doing it that way. But they're trying to come up with all kinds of new ways to store electricity or to store power and use it when they need it. Okay, let's. So we just did this. Okay, so yeah, AI. Yeah, this is good. You're going to see this. A lot of people are, and AI is going to replace, in the next, before the end of the decade, 90% of jobs are going to be gone, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So Bao says, so sounds like we don't have a silver bullet, but combining things might be ideal. Yeah, for energy, yeah, it's I think having electricity as the common thing rather than, fossil fuels. Definitely, we don't want to use fossil fuels anymore, right? We got to stop those because it makes too much CO2, which is bad for the planet. But when like cars are running on electricity and everything's running on electricity, then you kind of have a choice, You can make your electricity from a lot of different stuff. Whereas if you have like you have a gas stove in your house, then that's all you can do. You can only use gas. You And then when the price of gas goes up, then you're screwed. You can't switch to something else. When it's electricity, if one particular source becomes too expensive or unavailable or whatever for whatever reason, then the utility companies can make electricity from other sources when you have a whole bunch of different ones available. So yeah, that's good to have a diverse portfolio of available energy sources, and electricity allows them to do that. You still have the problem of the monopoly of the utilities and the power and the lines, distribution and all that, which can be an issue. But you can still, you can make your own electricity with solar panels or put a wind turbine, if you, in some cases, for your own use. So electricity is much better overall. Okay, first arrest made as New York's Nassau County bans face masks in public. What the hell? This is so stupid. I just don't understand this at all. Last week, the group Disability Rights New York filed a lawsuit against the mask ban, saying it discriminates against immunocompromised people. It's telling people what to wear. That's about as intrusive as it gets, right? Unless you're trying to stop them from harming other people. It doesn't harm anybody to wear a mask, but it can harm somebody if you don't wear a mask, right? If you don't wear a mask, then you can spread disease. The whole pandemic thing is just ridiculous. Why would they do that? Why, what is the motivation there? Their only motivation can be that they want more disease. Somebody somewhere wants more disease. And throughout the pandemic, throughout the pandemic, our leaders made decisions and made policy that they knew. At the time they made the decision, they knew it would make the pandemic worse, and they made those decisions anyway, over and over and over and over and over again. Somebody somewhere wanted the pandemic to be worse, for whatever reason. A million Americans died that didn't have to die. Our government killed 1 million of its own citizens. That's why I support a revolution in the U.S. I support a full-on revolution to take out this regime and replace it with an actual democracy that actually cares about the people. And talk to people. A lot of people don't even know that. I talk to some people who are, seem to be reasonably well informed. They don't even know that. They don't know that at the beginning of the pandemic, some of them don't even know that N95s. You have to wear an N95 to stop the pandemic, not cloth masks. That was the major decision that killed all the people, was telling people either not to wear masks like these people are doing in Long Island, in New York, or tell them to wear cloth masks, because cloth masks don't work. It tells me 15% or something. N95, the 95 in the N95 means it stops at least 95% of the particles. And it works a totally different way. It uses electrostatic filtering. It's and a lot of people don't even realize that. How can that possibly be? We're 5 years almost into this pandemic, and there are still people out there who don't know that you need to wear an N95 to protect yourself. And you got policymakers in New York who are killing people. They're killing people, telling them that they can't wear a mask. It's just ridiculous. And then there was, at the very beginning, they said, "Oh, we got a shortage of N95 masks, so we told people to wear a cloth mask." That's not true. There was no shortage. They had millions and millions and millions of masks in the strategic national reserve, and in fact, they exacerbated it. They had all those masks sitting there on a shelf, and they didn't let them go. In addition to that, each state had their own reserves. The hospitals had their own reserves. There were enough masks available if they would have released them, that we could have managed this thing. And they just kept them on the shelf. And then during the pandemic, from March of, so the pandemic started in February. The first case here in the U.S. was in February of 2020. And then for the next 2 years, or next year, no, 2 years, 2 years, what our government officials did is they bought up N95 masks off the market, stuck them on the shelf in the Strategic National Reserve where nobody could use them. Millions and millions, I'm talking hundreds of millions of masks, they pulled off the market and stuck them on the shelf so people couldn't wear them during the pandemic. Did you hear that reported anywhere? Who reported that? Did you hear mainstream media talk about that? And N95 masks, there's a study out of Stanford University, Harvard University, that said that if just 40% at the very beginning of the pandemic, if just 40% of the population had worn N95 masks instead of cloth masks, the epidemic never would have taken hold in the U.S. That was a fact. They figured that out. And then once the virus mutated, then the mask still could have stopped it, but they would have needed more people to wear it. But even if like at the very beginning of the pandemic, it was like 80% of the people or more were wearing some kind of mask. If they would have been told, informed, and supplied with N95 masks, we would have no pandemic. Millions of people would be alive today that were killed otherwise. So I'm very obviously, you can tell I'm very upset about that. And what makes me even more upset is that nobody knows this, or very few people. And the people who do know it aren't saying anything about it and don't care. They don't care that they just killed 1 million people, So that's why I support a revolution in the U.S. We gotta completely get rid of anybody who has held high office this century. Needs to just be taken away to re-education camp or something, and just start over in this country with a new government, new constitution, everything. Get rid of all this corruption. And I don't know why they did it. I mean, either they hate Americans, or most likely though, because the trillions of dollars spent. That's probably what the motivation was. But I don't know. I don't know why they did it, but it's very clear over and over and over again they did that. And then we waited all that time for the vaccine to come out, and then after the vaccine came out, at that time the Delta variant was just getting started in Europe, and we knew it was headed this way. The wave was heading towards us. This Delta variant, which was very virulent and easily spread. And virulent, rather, and easily spread. And they, right as that wave was hitting the U.S., they told people not to wear their masks anymore, even the cloth masks. Right before that wave hit, and after they issued that policy, and people stopped wearing their masks, thousands of people a day were dying at that time. During the pandemic, thousands and thousands of people each day were dying. So, and they did this over and over and over and over again. Finally, at the end of December 21, the military had to step in. The Army had to step in and physically went to the Strategic National Reserve, where they had 700 million N95 masks sitting on the shelf in storage. The Army physically went there and took them out and distributed them to pharmacies and stuff, and so people could wear the masks. And go ahead and take a look at the charts of the death rates and what happened when that happened. The death rate was way up there, and then in December when they announced that, right after that, The death rate went way, way down after they distributed those N95 masks. So, yeah, no, it's sooner we can take down this regime, the better off we'll be. Replace it with a whole new government that actually cares about the people. Okay, that's the opinion part of the news and opinions show here. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Okay, so that's just bizarre. That's just totally illegal. It's immoral. It's repugnant. Yeah, take a list. Whoever's behind this, those are the first ones to go to the re-education camp after the revolution, man. All right. Okay, so we covered those days. So now, SpaceX. Okay, let's change gears here. Let's talk about something that's a little bit better. Yeah, SpaceX launched some stuff. I didn't really follow what was going on or which ones were launched. I knew they launched a couple of them the same day or something. Okay. Okay, these people, Phys.org, I read their thing, and let's see. And I think they allow me to look at their stuff. But let me do this first, and then we'll bring this up. Okay, that's September 2nd. All right, let's see if they got anything else here. Okay, we'll just read this article, I guess. So yeah, these guys say we can use, as long as it's not commercial. I'm not making any money yet, so I'm not an affiliate. I'm not making any money. So they say as long as you're not making money, you can read their articles. So it says FAA lets SpaceX get back to launches, but Polaris Dawn awaits good weather. Okay, SpaceX got the okay to fly again from the Federal Aviation Administration and didn't waste any time knocking out launches from both Florida and California early Saturday, but the crewed Polaris Dawn launch remains on hold because of weather. Okay. So what did they, I guess it was just their Starlink, their Starlink satellites, I guess is that what it is? The FAA had grounded SpaceX's workhorse Falcon 9 after a launch from Cape Canaveral earlier this week ended with its first stage booster toppling over in a fiery landing in the Atlantic. Oh, that's when they tried to recover the thing. Which, I mean, it used to be that they would just, they have multiple stages, right? You got a rocket, you got the big stage, and then another stage, and another stage in the rocket. And it used to be that the rocket would go up, and as they used up a stage, they'd dump it, and it would just fall in the ocean, and they'd lose it, So even if they can recover, most of them or some of them or whatever, it's still a good deal. So even if they lose one now and then, it's not that big of a deal. So, you know how it works, right? The rocket takes off, and then the big booster stage that brings it up most of the way through the atmosphere, that after its fuel is out, it lets go, and it falls back down through the atmosphere, and then they use little fins on it to get it aligned, and then as it gets close to the Earth's surface, they fire boosters, and it slows down, and it lands, just like the old 50s sci-fi movies where the rockets land, Yeah, I'm sure you guys seen that, right? You know what that's about. The SpaceX Falcon 9 vehicle may return to flight operations while the overall investigation of the anomaly during the Starlink Group 86 mission remains open, provided all other license requirements are met, the FAA said in a statement released Friday night. SpaceX made the return to flight request on August 29th, and the FAA gave approval on the 30th. With the okay to go, SpaceX first sent up a Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station's Space Launch Complex 40 with 21 Starlink satellites launching at 3:43 a.m. Okay, so it was Starlink. It marked the 61st launch among all providers of the Space Coast, with SpaceX responsible for all but 4. Marked the 61st launch among all providers from the Space Coast, with SpaceX responsible for all but 4. Okay. So SpaceX is doing a lot, is doing most of it. They did 57 of them, and then 4 of them belonged to some other company was launching it, I guess. Provider, or maybe even the government, I don't know. Its first stage booster made its 18th flight and struck the landing without issue on the drone ship Just Read. That's the name of the drone ship, Just Read? Oh, just read the instructions. In the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so less than an hour later, SpaceX sent up another Falcon 9 with another 21 Starlink satellites from Vandenberg base, that's in California, Complex 4E. Its first stage booster flew for the 9th time, landing on the drone ship Of Course I Still Love You, stationed in the Pacific Ocean. These names they do. It was the 24th West Coast launch for SpaceX, making it the company's 85th operational mission of the year, not including 2 test flights of Starship and Super Heavy from Texas. SpaceX now also has the green light to send up what would be its next human space flight, the Polaris Dawn mission, set to return billionaire Jared Isaacman to space along with 3 crewmates. Isaacman first flew on SpaceX on the Inspiration 4 mission in 21, marking his first the first all-commercial crewed flight. Okay, so this got a billionaire, just got money to burn, wants to go up to space. No, we don't want to sign up for your newsletter, sorry. Quartet were set to launch early Tuesday the past week, but a helium leak on the launch pad forced SpaceX to scrub that attempt. Then as they were gearing up for a retry early Wednesday, SpaceX met the weather conditions. Okay, so they had a technical issue, then they had weather. So that's causing problems. Okay. Said weather is still an issue. The latest forecasts continue to show unfavorable weather conditions. Oh, where the Dragon would splash down upon returning from space. Okay, so they got to get this planned out. Right, they got people on board this thing. They got to go up in space, and then they got to come down. So they got to look at the forecast going up and also coming down if they can see that far out. Okay. Once teams identify the next opportunity for launch and return, provide an update. Okay. So that's space news, space travel news. Okay. Well, there was something else I wanted to do. Actually, this is kind of a history thing. Let me make sure we don't have anything else here, Davies. Democracy Now. Okay, that's still Democracy Now. Oh yeah, there were a couple. Germany had an election that kind of went different direction, and I don't know what happened in that. I don't see anything here about that. This is August 30th. So I don't know what's going on. Let me go to their main page here. Can I do this? I think this is okay. Decriminalization. So yeah, this is Democracy Now. They're definitely, left. That's their perspective is from the left, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. Left and right, it's kind of outdated now, but they're more progressive, I guess is the word now they're using. So I don't see anything in here about Germany. There's something going on in Germany. There was an election, and I bet they have something on. Let me go to, I guess we're done with this, right? There were two stories. One was Germany, and there was another one. Yeah, I don't remember what the other story was. They don't have anything in here about Germany, so let me go to, let me get this off, and I'm going to go to Wikipedia, and then we'll go Germany. Politics. Politics of Germany. That might have it, huh? No, they don't seem to have anything in here about that. Let's see if they have. There it is. 2021 federal elections. I don't think this was a federal election, though. It was a. It was some state. It was state elections. Okay, let me just go to Google. Google's always really good on this. All right, let me bring this up so you guys can get tired of looking at my mug there. All right, so I'm going to type Germany elections. Let's see what it says. And I think Google's safe. I don't think they put anything bad up when they do it. Okay. 5 takeaways from Germany's regional elections after far right makes historic gains. Okay. Let's see if we can find a source here that's... I guess you're reading the headlines. I guess we get it, right? They had an election, a far right one. It's some of the regional elections, right? Do we need to know any more about that? God, they did. You notice how all of their sources are all just mainstream media or just old media or whatever? Well, yeah, I wonder why that is, you know. Billionaire company is putting up mainstream stuff. Okay, well, I don't think it's just Germany had some elections, regional elections that were their federal elections, and the other side, you know, the right side won. I don't know what it means or why, or I don't know anything about the politics of Germany. So I guess I don't need to. Maybe later I'll get into that. I'm already 2 hours into the stream. So let's see. I wanted to get into this here. I came across this this thing, Haditha massacre. Have you ever heard of that? Raise your hand if you heard of the Haditha massacre. I don't think anybody put their hands up. This is something that happened during the during the war in Iraq. Do you know the background? Some guys flew some airplanes into some buildings in the U.S., you know, and everybody got upset. And then the president, who was basically an oil company guy, set his sights on Iraq, they had nothing to do with the 9/11 attack at all. And he said, oh, they've got weapons of mass destruction. They didn't. He made up a lie, false pretenses, invaded Iraq, and just did horrible things. Basically what Israel's doing now to Gaza. This is what the U.S. did to Iraq. And this is a massacre that happened during that war that was really underreported. I mean, I was following that war, and I don't remember this. Maybe they reported it, but they didn't report it like this. That's for sure. They didn't report the facts. So if you haven't heard about this, because it's got buried. And our government doesn't want you to know about it. So I'm going to tell you about it. It's the Hadatha. Hadatha is a city in Iraq, in the western part of Iraq, western province of Al-Anbar. And it says there was a series of killings on November 19th, 2005, in which a group of United States Marines killed 24 unarmed Iraqi civilians. The killings occurred in the city of Hadatha in Iraq's western province of Al-Anbar. Among the dead were men, women, elderly people, and children as young as 3 who were shot multiple times at close range while unarmed. The ensuing massacre took place after an improvised explosive device exploded near a convoy, killing a lance corporal and severely injuring 2 other Marines. The immediate reaction of some of the Marines was to seize 5 men in a nearby taxi and execute them on the street. An initial Marine Corps communique reported that 15 civilians were killed by the bomb's blast, and 8 insurgents were subsequently killed when the Marines returned fire against those attacking the convoy. So in other words, they just completely made it up. They hit a bomb. These improvised explosive devices. Okay, that was something that was used a lot during this war. They're just homemade bombs, basically. And somebody who didn't like the U.S. being there set this bomb and killed one of the Marines. And the Marines, instead of trying to figure out who did it or whatever, just went and massacred anybody they could see, any Iraqi they could see, find. And then after they did it, after they massacred all these civilians, then they made up a report saying that the bomb killed the civilians, and saying that there were insurgents, military, people with guns firing at them and all this. They just made up a whole big story. It says, however, other evidence uncovered by the media contradicted the Marines' account. A Time magazine reporter's questions prompted the United States military to open an investigation into the incident. The investigation found evidence that supports accusations that the U.S. Marines deliberately shot civilians. According to an anonymous Pentagon official, 3 officers were officially reprimanded for failing to properly initially report and investigate the killings. So they weren't reprimanded for killing all the civilians. They were reprimanded for the false report. And then on December 21st, 2006. So this is more than a year later. 8 Marines from 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines were charged in connection with the incident. And so it goes on. Basically, everybody got away with it. Nobody went to jail over this or anything. See. 6 defendants had their cases dropped, and the 7th was found not guilty. And the only exception was a staff sergeant, Frank Wutrick. And he got, I don't think he even got, let's see. Charges levered, pretrial, charges dropped. Okay, let's see what happened to that guy. Okay, so he went to trial. He was convicted of a single count of negligent dereliction of duty. It was murder, right? They murdered all these people. And so he was convicted of negligent dereliction of duty. And he got a rank reduction and pay cut, but no jail time. So that's the Hadatha massacre, and nobody knows about it because we don't really have a free press. Although it was the press who reported it at the time. Somebody at least brought it to light. But It's one of those things that just gets buried. I'm sure it's not taught in school, you know. I don't know, some of you younger people, do you know anything about this? I don't want to drag anybody out of lurk, but you probably never heard about this, I'm betting. You've already heard about the Iraq War. Maybe you have. I'm sure you did. But you probably never heard why the war happened. It was an oil war. It was the vice president at the time, Dick Cheney, was a CEO of an oil company, an oil services company called Halliburton. He was the vice president. He was basically running the country. Bush wasn't making a lot of decisions at the time. But Bush's father was in the oil industry, so the whole thing, basically the country was being run by the oil companies at that time. And they didn't like Iraq. The dictator who was running Iraq was selling oil and driving the price of oil down. You know, putting oil on the market when OPEC and everybody else didn't. The oil-producing countries did not want the price of oil to go down, and the people in the oil industry didn't want the price of oil to go down. So they were trying to do everything they could to get Saddam Hussein to stop selling oil on the market. You know, selling his oil from Iraq on the market, and they tried all these things, and finally they just invaded the country and took him out of power and burned all the oil wars. The first thing they did when they went into the country was light all the oil wells on fire. You may see pictures of that. If you see pictures of the Iraq War, first thing they did was to light all of those oil wells on fire so that oil would not go onto the market. And Bush, you know, when they invaded, he's famous. He famously went onto an aircraft carrier and said, "Mission accomplished." Right, the war was just getting started, and he said, "Mission accomplished." And what he meant, he didn't mean that, you know, they had taken out the dictator or anything like that, or taken control of the country or anything like that. When he said mission accomplished, he meant the oil is off the market. That oil is no longer going to be put on the market anymore. That's what he meant when he said mission accomplished. And so we ended up killing all these people and doing all these horrible things because the oil companies didn't like that there was extra oil in it. Most of the wars that we fight are because of fossil fuel, because of oil, or sometimes mining or some other resource thing. You know, just fighting for resources. So anyway, I wanted to put that in there. I could run across this, and I didn't remember it at all. And it's just one of those things that just kind of gets erased from history. You know, like the Tulsa Massacre. People never heard about that for a long, long time, and then finally it got more visibility. And this is another one of those things. You know, this Haditha Massacre that just didn't get reported. So. What else do I have here? All right. National Preparedness Month. That's what I wanted to find out about. That was something different. Let me bring that up here. Okay, so this is August 30th, a proclamation on National Preparedness Month. This is out of the White House. This is a press release from the White House. And what they're saying here is that during National Preparedness Month, we honor the first responders for their bravery in helping us respond to natural disasters, and we can recommit to equipping Americans with the resources they need to overcome the climate crisis. I don't know how to bring that in. And bouts of extreme weather. And emerge stronger, more resilient, and more secure. Okay, so they're tying it into climate change. saying you should be prepared because there's more weather stuff. There's also more political unrest because of climate change, as areas of the world become less inhabitable. People want to move, and it just overall causes more tension and more conflict, and so there will be more people migrating because of climate change. So. Now, was it last month that is Preparedness Month or September that is Preparedness Month? Oh, 13th day of August. Okay, so last month was Preparedness Month, he says. Okay, I don't know, it's just... looks like it's trying to... healthcare and all kinds of... It looks like he's just trying to use this as a way to talk about his policies or whatever, but... It's kind of interesting. One of these days, I want to do a stream on prepping. Preparedness. That's what they call preppers. People who are more prepared for when stuff happens. So one of these days, I'll do a stream on that. How to be prepared and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that was that. All right, I think that was it. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to do. I guess we can look for some more science news here on this site. Newborn stellar cluster, predicts quantum anomaly crystal fractionally filled. I don't know what that is. We can look at some of these articles and see if there's anything in here. Study predicts a new quantum anomalous crystal in fractionally filled Moire superlattices. Okay. I don't know what that even is. I don't know what you're talking about. Quantum anomalous crystal. Device to sort photon states could be useful for quantum optical computer circuits. Okay, scientists demonstrate giant terahertz Kerr effect via stimulated photon polaritons. What is a polariton? Phonon polariton. What the heck is that? Let me see what that is. Terahertz waves and terahertz technologies have gradually opened a new style for communication, cloud-based storage, computing, information contests, and medical tools. With the advancement of terahertz technologies, studies on terahertz nonlinear optics have emerged, achieving considerable breakthroughs in both physics and technology. Cannot support. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Polariton, a phonon polariton. I don't know what that is. Okay, under the influence of the giant TKE, and TKE was, what was that? That was a terahertz Kerr effect. So under the influence of the giant TKE, the power-dependent refractive index resulting in frequency shifts of the resonant modes in a single mode microcavity, which were experimentally measured and analyzed. Experimentally, I don't know what this abbreviation means. Enhanced third-order nonlinear optical susceptibility demonstrated was 4 magnitude orders larger than in visible or infrared frequency. This is a lot of typos in this article for some reason. Consistent with the theoretical predictions from the nonlinear Hwan equations. This is way over my head. I don't know what they're even talking about here. I'd have to take a half hour for each one of those terms that I don't know and look it up and try to figure out what that's about. So let's see if there's something easier. Let's go easier. Creating an imprint on a super photon. Replica symmetry breaking in 1D Rayleigh scattering system. Or Rayleigh, rather. Rayleigh scattering. That's why the sky is blue. That's when that's one of the questions, right? Why is the sky blue? It's because the sun's rays come in, and there are different frequencies. I don't know if you guys have listened, if my audience right now has listened to some of my science streams, but there are different frequencies and different wavelengths of light, and the longer wavelength light is red, and the shorter wavelength of visible light is blue. And when the sun comes in to the atmosphere, it hits nitrogen, oxygen, whatever in the atmosphere, and certain wavelengths, there's Rayleigh scattering happens when the wavelength of light, I can't remember, it's like a factor of 10 longer than the molecule that it's hitting, or vice versa. In other words, certain molecules or certain wavelengths of light will be scattered by the molecules in the upper atmosphere, whereas the other wavelengths won't. So the long wavelengths, they don't get scattered. They just go right by and we don't see them. But the shorter wavelength, blue light, when it hits the molecules, it gets scattered. And when it gets scattered, then like if here's the surface of the Earth, and this is particularly when the sun is away from you. If you look straight at the sun, the sky looks yellow or something, right, or white or whatever, or right around the sun. But on the edges of the sun, so if the sun's right here, and the sunlight is coming straight down on you, and you look straight up at the sun, it's white. It's like the same color as what's coming from the sun. The sky is white. But if the rays come this way, they hit the atmosphere. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. This is not. Here we go. This is a little bit easier. So here's the surface of the Earth. Here's the sun up here. So if the sun rays come straight down, they just go through. You just see all the colors, right? And it's white. All the colors turn out to be white. But if it comes at an angle like this, and it hits the atmosphere, the red, the long wavelength, will just go right through. But the blue, the short wavelength, gets scattered by the molecules in all directions. And so blue comes from all the rays coming this way. So when you look straight up at the sun, you see white around the sun. But if you go off to the side, you'll see the blue light that gets scattered. That's why the sky is blue. That's called Rayleigh scattering. So let me see what this article is. I don't know if I'm going to understand this article. I understood that one word, so I thought I'd show off that I understood that one word. But I don't know. Let's see. Replica symmetry breaking in 1D Rayleigh scattering system. Replica symmetry breaking in 1D Rayleigh scattering system. Theory and validations. University of Electronics Science and Technology of China. Okay. Not sure what I'm looking at here. Okay, here's wavelength, which I was just talking about. So it's certain wavelengths, something is happening here. It looks like fluctuation of RS phase. I don't know what RS phase means. Oh, replica symmetry. Maybe that's what that means. In both the natural and human society, there commonly exist complex systems such as climate systems, ecological systems, network systems. Due to the involvement of numerous interacting elements, complex systems can stay in multiple different states, and their overall behavior generally exhibits randomness and high disorder. That's kind of vague. Let's see. The complex interactions between factors such as solar radiation, terrain, and ocean currents cause climate systems to exhibit various states, such as sunny, cloudy, and rainy. The dynamic changes and mutual influences of these factors make the behavior of the climate highly uncertain and difficult to predict accurately. For instance, the formation and path of a storm can be influenced by multiple factors such as ocean temperature, wind speed, and atmospheric pressure. Okay, so they're talking about weather. What causes weather? All right. Revealing the underlying patterns behind the behaviors of complex systems has been a focal point of research for scholars worldwide. Discovered in the early 1970s, magnetic spin glass systems became a paradigm of some complex systems and provide an important theoretical framework as well as experimental and numerical simulation platforms for describing and predicting the behavior of complex systems. Well, I don't know what they're talking about here. Okay, let's see. They're getting into it here. Okay, this guy or guy can be man or woman, right? Who introduced the concept of replica symmetry breaking in magnetic spin glass systems, discovered the interplay of disorder and fluctuations in physical systems ranging from atomic to planetary scales, revealing hidden symmetries in complex systems and earning him, the Nobel Prize. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty tough. This isn't for a general audience, obviously. But it looks like they discovered some aspect of Rayleigh scattering that they think might influence the weather, and it's another variable I guess they can plug into their weather models, I suppose, perhaps. That's my take. That's my guess at what that's about. Fluorescence microscopy. Okay, that's an ad. Okay. Okay. Well, this looks like this is really technical stuff. This is for physicists. This isn't like a general thing. I just found this phys.org, and they allow people to reprint their articles and streamers or whoever to show their articles without freely, without charge. So I put them on my list of free sources of information. We got a chatter here. This is I'm doing a Twitch stream here on Twitch live. In case you're watching this on a recording, and part of Twitch is they have a little chat facility so viewers can chat to me while I'm doing the stream. And one of the friends of the channel here, Big Ducky Snow, is talking on the chat, and let me see what he says here. Big Ducky Snow says, hello, my dubby buddy. I've just had a loveliest, most fun, interesting, and beautiful day ever with my friends in Montreal. Yeah, I'm wondering, how was that? Let's see, I'm back at my motel now with some pics to post on my Instagram. Tonight I'll go to a nearby supermarket and buy some movie snacks. So I'm just going to lurk and listen in this stream. Peace, love, light, and many hugs to you sweet people. Well, good. I'm glad your Montreal trip is going well. I was wondering about that. So that's cool. That's cool that you're having fun in Montreal and doing some stuff, and that you're able to still get access. I imagine you're on your phone or whatever, and still able to post stuff. So that's good. Okay, that's good. That's nice. Thank you for lurking this stream. I can use all the viewers I can get at this point. It's a slow. I've been doing this for 5 weeks now, and I'm getting like maybe about a little less than one follow per stream, and kind of hovering in there around one or two viewers. So I appreciate that Stephen, that you're lurking on my stream. All right, so I guess that's it. One thing I could do, I guess I can just since we've done all that, I guess I can just wrap it up here with a play the geography game, and then that'll kind of cleanse our palate from all this other stuff. I'll just play that game just for fun and see how fast I can identify all the countries. Let's see if I can even. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Oh, great. Okay, it's coming up. All right, so I'll just play the geography game just for fun, and that'll cleanse our palate, and we'll have some fun, and then we can go. Okay, world geography games. Okay, that's up. Let me make sure. Yep, my mic is still going. All right, we're ready to rock and roll here. Okay, options. So we're going to do all the countries. Oh, computer's going kind of slow, so I don't know about this. Click. All right. So click on the map to start the game. So here we go. We're starting at, what time are we starting? 7:37. Okay. Zambia. France. Can you see that on the thing? Yeah, you can see that, right? Yeah, you can see the names coming up. Okay. Colombia. Uzbekistan. Grenada. Solomon Islands. Oh shit, I missed one already. These are the Solomon Islands. Iraq. Rwanda. Nicaragua. Belgium. Central African Republic. Montenegro. Greece. UAE. Bhutan. Palau. I think that's this one. Venezuela. Italy. Kyrgyzstan. Barbados. Jordan. Tonga. Argentina. Comoros. Gambia. I think that's Gambia. No, I think Gambia is this little one here. Iceland. Equatorial Guinea. Serbia. Yeah, I had trouble with this one before. That's Slovakia. That's Serbia. Okay, Samoa. I think that's Samoa. Guyana. Bangladesh. Mexico. Djibouti. That's Djibouti. Honduras. That was in the news that we just did. Angola. Lebanon. Zoom in a little bit for that one. Antigua and Barbudos. That's that one. Syria. New Zealand. Can you see that? Oh, that's off the end of the thing, is it? A little bit delayed here. Brazil. Oh, you can't see way off over here. Let me adjust my thing here. Sorry, this is going to mess up my time, but I want this to be visible, right? You got to be able to see what's going on. Yeah, it's still not. All right, I guess that's as good as I'm going to get. All right, Brazil. Qatar. I think that's Qatar. Eswatini. Myanmar. Moldova. Estonia. Egypt. Azerbaijan. Switzerland. Ukraine. Kosovo. I've got to zoom in here, see what I'm doing. I think that's Kosovo. Guatemala. Luxembourg. Belize. Can you see that? Can you see that in there? No, you can't see that. I gotta scoot this over a little bit. Okay. Belize. Algeria. Burundi. Afghanistan. Let's see. That's Afghanistan. Lithuania. Chile. Marshall Islands. Malawi. Nauru. Cyprus. Bulgaria. Yemen. Singapore. Georgia. Oh, Georgia's over here, right? Yeah. Georgia. Eritrea. El Salvador. I laugh at my own jokes. Sorry. That was El Salvador over here. That may have been off the edge there. Philippines. Sierra Leone. The Netherlands. Senegal. Tajikistan. Cuba. Togo. Fiji. Namibia. Guinea. Niger. Armenia. Taiwan. Can you see that? Am I going off the edge here? No. Democratic Republic of Congo. Seychelles. Spain. Panama. Malaysia. Botswana. U.S. Uruguay. India. Jamaica. Guinea-Bissau. Madagascar. Bolivia. Zimbabwe. Paraguay. North Korea. Can you see that? That's North Korea. You know where that is, right? Iran. Chad. Indonesia. Monaco. I think that's Monaco. Yep, okay. Sudan. Mali. Laos. Oh shit, I missed one. I missed several of them. Let's see. Ivory Coast. Belarus. Nigeria. Cambodia. Czechia. Let's see, where's Czechia? Sri Lanka. Thailand. Yeah, I hit Thailand instead of Laos. That's kind of weird. Benin. Somalia. Okay, this is Somalia. Norway. Peru. That's Peru. Sweden. Poland. France, Germany, Poland. Suriname. Lesotho. Morocco. I think that's Morocco. Santa Lucia. Let me think here. I think that's that one. Maldives. Ecuador. Australia. Micronesia. Bahrain. Palestine. Oh, I've got to zoom in on that one because there's not much left. Palestine. Kazakhstan. Let's see. What's up here? Finland. Vanuatu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right or not. But Turkmenistan. Papua New Guinea. Israel. Gotta zoom in on that one too. Libya. This is Libya. Cape Verde. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. South Africa. Haiti. Can you see that? Let me move this over a little bit. Malta. China. UK. Slovenia. Okay, there's Slovakia and Slovenia. And I figured out a mnemonic to remember them. Okay, this used to be Czechoslovakia. So that's Slovakia. And this is Slovenia. I kept getting those mixed up, and I had to figure out a way to not get them mixed up. Let's see, Brunei. That's here by Malaysia. Burkina Faso. Costa Rica. Andorra. Okay, yeah, this is Andorra. Vietnam. East Timor. We were just talking about that. They're celebrating their Independence Day after 25 years or whatever it was. Slovakia. That's the other one, right? They said Slovenia and Slovakia. So I did Slovenia. This is Slovakia. Hungary. So let's see. We've got Switzerland. There's Austria, and that must be Hungary. Right? Bahamas. Oh man. It's Oman, actually. It's pronounced Oman. I was just kidding. Mauritania. It's over here, I think. St. Kitts and Nevis. Now this is Mauritania. Yes, it sounds like Mauritania, but they're two totally different things. This is the islands over here, but they have very similar names. I don't know if they're pronounced similar. Liechtenstein, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Denmark, Portugal, Ethiopia, Dominica. This is Dominican Republic, and this is Dominica. They're two different things. There's another two that sound the same. Okay. Kenya and Tanzania. So this has got to be Kenya, I'm pretty sure. Mongolia, that's way over here by China. Albania, that's near Greece. That's here. Latvia. Ireland. There, Dominican Republic, that's the other one. See the one we just did? San Marino. That's here by Italy, I think. Cameroon. Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's this one here. Romania. Uganda. Kuwait. Austria. Okay, I just mentioned that one. Here next to Switzerland. Gabon, I think it's that one. Tanzania, just talked about that. Mozambique, Canada, North Macedonia, Germany, Republic of the Congo. So that's this one. Croatia. Zoom in for that one. Russia. That's pretty easy. Liberia. That's down here somewhere. I think it's that one. Sao Tome and Principe. Japan. Tuvalu. The TV people. Pakistan. Let's see. India, Pakistan. South Korea. Tunisia. Trinidad and Tobago. It's over here. Nepal. There. Ghana. Kiribati. That's these islands way over here. Vatican City is there. South Sudan. There we go. Okay, how many did I miss here? Let's see. 3 of them. So I missed 3 of them. I guess that's not bad. I missed 2 of them right up the front. So, and then one of them was otherwise. Okay, so that was fun. It's kind of good to do this after doing the news, or maybe I could do these before the news even, so people know when we talk about places in the news, where it is in the world, So, all right. Just gonna transit. No, it's not gonna. There we go. Okay, let me close that because that's slowing me down. I'm probably out of sync here. Let me close that because that's slowing me down. All right. Doesn't matter if I'm out of sync now, right? All right. So we got 3 people. Let me see if there's somebody who can. I just rated Globus the other day. Science is 57. I don't know. Oh, you got 4 people. Can I raid somebody with 50 people, with 4 people? I think you need at least 10%, don't you? Let me see here. There's somebody 45. Need any music? Here's somebody with 27, but I don't know what it's a music thing. I never heard of them. I don't think I want to raid somebody I never heard of, do I? Oh, Science is doing Science Streams is doing a stream together with somebody else anyway. Yeah, I don't know. They have a thing on here called let me see. They have a raid browser. Let me see if that works here. Let me see if I can do that. Now I'm going to lose all my viewers while I'm trying to figure out how to do a raid. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are. Allison Compton. 15 viewers. Doing stuff in a bra. Yeah, okay. Look at all these different... any genre of music reactions. Okay, I don't know. I can't find anybody to raid here, so... oh, here's somebody who did news. News, working class history, podcast, and more. Free Palestine. I don't know who this is. Oh, here's somebody doing their third stream. Let me see what that is. It says third. Let me see this here. It's not coming up for some reason. I don't know why that didn't work. Let me just click on it here. Preview stream. Okay, here we go. Okay, they're chatting with somebody too, so I can't get it. All right, we don't need to do a raid, I guess. Oh, I got 5 viewers now. Oh shit! I can't just let 5 viewers go. I can't let you guys go. Any suggestions on who I can raid? Bliss. Let's see who else we got here. Yeah, there are only 5 people that I follow who are streaming right now, and they're all pretty good streamers. I mean, big, not good streamers. Big. They have hundreds of people, so it doesn't make sense to raid them with 4 people. All right. Well. All right. We'll just call it here then. Oh, here we go. We got somebody in chat here. Okay, hug. Oh, hug. Okay. All right. All right, Big Ducky Snow. All right, let's go. We'll do. Give it. Oh, and do a. Let's do a shout out too. Let me do some shout outs here while we got people going. All right, do shout out to Big Ducky Snow, and we'll do a shout out to Bao. Bao, you stream, right? I think. So we'll do a shout out. And shout out to okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, I don't want to shout out to my bot. That wouldn't make sense. Okay, great. We got shout outs to everybody. Everybody follow those folks. Join us in following Big Ducky Snow and Bao. And if you like science stuff or news or anything else or geography game or IRL or what else do I do? Or movie reviews. Yeah, I do movie reviews too. Usually retro sci-fi, but any kind of movie reviews. If you like that kind of stuff, give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get as many followers as I can. I still haven't made my affiliate yet. So that gets, when I get affiliate, not only do I get to make money and stuff once I'm affiliate, which I probably won't anyway, but I still get to it lets me do more stuff, with the channel. Like points. I don't get to do points for some reason. It doesn't let me do channel points until I'm affiliate, and there's some other features that I can't get. And let's do a shout out to Peekaboo. For some reason, Peekaboo, it's not letting me. It isn't bringing you up here, but I'll type it in by hand. I think I spelled it correctly. Peekaboo draws. There we go. Shout out failed. Huh. I must have typed. Oh, I did 2 @ signs. Damn. All right, we'll get it. We'll get it here. Peekaboo draws. I think that's correct. Yeah, I think I got it. There we go. Great. So we got everybody, I think. Anybody else? I think that's everybody. All right, very good. And we said so. All right, very good. So yeah, if you're not already following the channel here, go on to Twitch and hit the follow. If you're not logged into Twitch, you can just. They have a very simple process for signing up for Twitch. You just enter your email address, and I don't even think you have to even verify your email. So if you like science stuff, science technology, I do experiments on stream, IRL, news, a lot of different stuff. And I live in a rural area here in New Hampshire, so I'm surrounded by forests. There are lots of wild animals. Sometimes I put them on stream or talk about them and stuff. So, yeah, if you can hit the follow button, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, I guess we're done for the. This is a 3-hour stream. This is long for me. I don't do streams this long usually. So what I'm going to do is, I think this is going to bring up my closing now. I have a different closing because YouTube doesn't like the closing that I had before. They were marking it as copyright violation, so I have to put a new closing, but we'll try this new closing. So everybody, I thank you for coming to the stream. Everybody have a nice evening. Bye-bye.